Before there was guilt, before pain, before the word sin even existed, there was perfection. Imagine a world untouched by fear, no chaos, no shame, only harmony, the sound of rivers flowing through light, the warmth of God's presence walking beside humanity in the cool of the day. Eden wasn't just a garden, it was the reflection of God's heart, a place where everything had purpose, order, and peace. Every leaf shimmered with meaning, every breath carried divine intention. Humanity was not surviving, it was thriving, perfectly aligned with its creator. But somewhere deep within that perfection lay something sacred: freedom, the power to choose love or to walk away from it. And that freedom changed everything. Yet before we talk about what was lost, we must remember what was first given. Because before the fall, there was beauty. Before rebellion, there was relationship. Before darkness, there was light. What if that same design, God's perfect order, His peace, His purpose, still lives within you? Before we talk about what was lost, let's rediscover what God meant for us to have all along. In the beginning, God spoke light into existence. But when He created humanity, He didn't just speak, He formed. He stooped down into the dust and shaped man with His own hands. Every line, every detail, every breath was intentional. This was not an accident, it was an act of intimacy. The words echo across eternity. Let us make man in our image. Unlike the stars that burn by command, or the seas that swelled by word, man and woman were crafted by touch. The Creator's fingerprints are woven into the very structure of our being. To be made in His image means we were designed to reflect Him, to think, to feel, to create, to love. You were not made simply to exist. You were made to express the heart of God through your life. Intelligence was His gift of reason. Emotion was His gift of empathy. Moral awareness, the sense of right and wrong, was His signature written on your soul. Every design tells a story, and yours speaks of divine intention. Eden was not a laboratory of obedience, but a living communion between Creator and creation. It was the meeting place of heaven and earth, a sanctuary of relationship. Adam and Eve were not prisoners of perfection. They were partners in purpose. When God brought the animals before Adam to be named, it wasn't a test of memory or power. It was a demonstration of trust, an invitation to share in divine creativity. With each name spoken, Adam participated in God's work of order and meaning. It was partnership, not performance. Purpose, not pressure. In that design, humanity was given identity and calling. To cultivate, to protect, to mirror divine stewardship. You were never meant to live detached or directionless. You were meant to be the visible echo of an invisible God. Think about it. Every design has a designer. A painting reflects its painter's style. A song carries the tone of its composer's heart. What does your design say about the one who made you? Perhaps it says that you were made to create beauty, to bring peace where there is chaos, to love where there is emptiness. You carry the fingerprints of eternity in your temporary body. So when you doubt your worth, remember this: you were shaped by the same hands that hung the stars. You were chosen, crafted, and breathed into being with intention. You are not random. You are a reflection. You are not an accident. You are art. But every gift comes with freedom, and freedom always carries risk. In the center of Eden stood two trees, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Both beautiful, both filled with mystery. God's command was simple: you may freely eat from every tree in the garden, but not from that one. To some that sounds like restriction, but to God it was relationship. Love cannot exist without freedom. Trust cannot exist without choice. The boundary in Eden was not a test of control. It was a test of trust. Imagine a loving parent telling their child not to touch a flame. The command isn't meant to limit joy, but to preserve it. The no is not rejection, it's protection. God's instruction to Adam and Eve was born from the same heart. A father's love shielding his children from what would destroy their innocence. In that moment, humanity was invited into the deepest form of relationship, obedience rooted in trust. God could have made them incapable of disobedience, but love that is forced isn't love at all, it's programming. The freedom to choose was sacred because it gave meaning to devotion. Eden was full of yes. Every tree, every sound, every breath was permission to enjoy life's abundance. Only one boundary existed, a gentle reminder that creation still needed the creator. The forbidden tree wasn't a trap, it was a symbol. Every time Adam and Eve walked past it, they reaffirmed trust in the one who gave them everything. That was the essence of love, not blind obedience, but willing surrender. Think about your own life. How many times have you mistaken God's boundaries for punishment, when in truth they were protection? The closed door that saved you, the delayed plan that refined you, the command that kept you from harm. What if God's no is never to take something from you, but to give something to you? Wisdom, patience, strength. True freedom is not doing whatever we want. It's the ability to choose what is right, even when wrong seems easier. Adam and Eve lived in a world where nothing lacked. Every sunrise was a gift. Every sound of wind through the trees was a hymn of peace. Yet even in perfection, love required a decision to trust the giver more than the gift, to choose relationship over curiosity. That sacred choice, the choice to trust, is the same one you and I face every day. Because freedom without guidance leads to chaos, but freedom shaped by love leads to peace. And so, in a perfect world, the stage was set for the greatest test of all. Because even in paradise, a whisper in the shadows was waiting. In the heart of perfection, the whisper came, soft, subtle, dangerous. The serpent did not attack with force. He began with a question. Did God really say? It was the seed of doubt, planted in a garden of trust. His strategy was ancient and precise. Twist truth until it sounds almost right. Eve's heart was curious, not rebellious. She only wanted to understand, to see what she might be missing. The fruit gleamed with promise, wisdom, knowledge, power. But what she saw with her eyes blinded what she once knew in her spirit. And Adam, silent, standing beside her, chose passivity over protection. The first sin was not just eating the fruit. It was the decision to believe that God was withholding something good. In a single moment, everything changed. The sweetness turned bitter. Their eyes opened, but what they saw was shame. The warmth of God's presence faded, replaced by fear. They hid among the trees that once symbolized freedom. Creation itself seemed to hold its breath. Then came the sound. Footsteps in the garden. The same voice that spoke galaxies into being now called, "Where are you?" He already knew the answer, but he asked anyway. Not for information, but for invitation. God was still reaching out. When we hide from him, he still comes looking. That moment revealed the true heart of God. He didn't strike them down. He didn't erase what he made. Instead, he clothed them. The first act of grace. Even in failure, mercy moved first. Temptation will always twist truth, but grace will always untwist it. Where deceit entered through a whisper, redemption would one day speak louder, through a cross. The fall was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of the rescue. Humanity walked out of Eden that day, but God's love walked with them. And that's the pattern that still defines our lives today. When you fail, when you run, when shame drives you to hide, the same voice still calls your name, not with anger, but with compassion, not to expose you, but to restore you. Because love was never about perfection, it was about presence. Eden may be gone, but its echo still lives inside you. Every time your heart longs for peace, every time you ache for something pure and lasting, you are remembering what once was. The human soul still carries a memory of walking with God, unafraid, unashamed, fully known. That longing isn't weakness, it's home calling. When Adam and Eve hid, God didn't turn away. He searched for them, He spoke their names, and when their shame left them uncovered, He clothed them. Mercy in motion. The first garments in history were not made by human hands, but by divine compassion. Even in judgment, there was grace. Even in exile, there was promise. That is the heart of God, a creator who never stops pursuing His creation. The same hands that formed humanity from dust now covered their shame with love. And those same hands would one day be stretched out again on a cross to restore what was lost in Eden. Look around. The longing for beauty, peace, and belonging that stirs in you is not nostalgia. It's the echo of your original design, the reminder that you were made for more than this broken world can offer. Maybe your heart misses Eden too. Not a place, but a presence. God's design still stands. His image still lives within you. His voice still whispers, "Come home." The same light that split the darkness in Genesis still breaks through the shadows of our hearts today. So take a moment, breathe, look at the sunrise and remember, the God who painted that sky is still writing your story. The fall wasn't the finale. Redemption was already in motion before the first tear fell. Next, we'll step into the moment that changed everything. How one choice reshaped creation and how God's plan for restoration began. If this message stirred your heart, share it with someone who needs hope today. And subscribe to walk with us through the story of God's Word, one chapter at a time. Because the story that began in Eden is still being written in you.